Today we are going to make the Broken Master Sword from Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. After all the pieces have been printed and tested, I use a Deburring Tool to remove the edges. This the fitting and improve the overall finish. I highly recommended having one of these. This helps with cosplay and 3D printing, links below. With the edges moved, let's sand the piece with 150 grit paper. The goal here is to create grooves for our filler to adhere better and break the layer lines. Don't apply too much force. Let the sandpaper do its job. For PLA piece, sanding slowly always yield the best results for me, but a good print always helps. For a good quality, I choose to print in two different printers. The Elegoo Neptune 3 Max, it's great for fitting large parts, has a great build volume, and printed the whole blade like a brace. And the Sovol SV06 did a fast and great job for all the other parts. Here's my biggest secret: mixing 1 part of quick drying putty with 3 parts of thinner until you get a liquid that remembers the texture of milk. This is what I use to fill the lines of each piece and make as smooth as possible. The key here is use very thin layers and wait to dry. Sand with a medium grit sandpaper and repeat for 2 or 3 layers. Applying the putty in liquid form, it's a breeze with a brush. It's much easier for difficult corners, grooves and internal parts. But you can also dilute to the point of using an aerograph or a sprayer wall painter if your pieces are large. With a quick drying 2-part epoxy mixed thoroughly, spread it over the 2 pieces, align them and finally glue into the final shape. Using rubber bands to maintain the pressure and improving the effect of the glue. Once everything is dry, let's apply the final layer of filling on the joints that are now glued, so everything looks like a single piece. Finally, one of the most tedious parts, sanding everything carefully and patiently, using a 240 grit sandpaper, then a 360 sandpaper, always keeping a little water nearby, until you achieve the desired result that is smooth to the touch. Don't stop sanding. Unfortunately, this piece had a very visible seam line, so I use a wood filler for correction, applying, sanding and wetting until the line completely disappeared to the touch. I primed all the piece with a very thin layer and divide the painting in 2 parts. For the blade, I use Chrome spray from the Colorgin brand, Metalik. The Chrome spray should be applying just 1 layer, very carefully to avoid drips, drops or anything like that. Preferably doing a local without wind, dust. This paint marks very easily. While the chrome dries, I paint the guard with acrylic paint diluted in water and apply with a coarse brush. The chosen color was NM58 Arctic Blue from SilverBright. With a sponge, the paint without any solution, I applied the wine color from Acrilex 565, almost like a dry brush with a sponge. This not only avoids brush lines but also helps to create a diffusion layer between both colors. The key is to make 45-degree movements with the sponge to try to simulate the chameleon effect of the colors. Once the blade is dry, I use a fine brush with a brown color 531 from Acrilex to create a base on the top of the chrome painting. Be careful to not stain the chrome because it's very sensitive. Once the base layer is dry, I used olive green 545 to create the moss color of the blade, taking great care of the chrome part. Everything more or less dry, it's time for black 520, which was applied with a TOTK brush without much care to stain the green. It took a few layers to fix and reach a good matte tone. To finish the blade, I get back to olive green, repainting the stained black parts. Now, with a cup with a finger of water, I mix the same black from the blade and some Grafite 530 to obtain a very watery paint that will be spread on the entire blade with a thick brush and immediately dried with paper towel. This aging process leaves the deeper grooves with a darker color and removes some of the shine from the paint. The details were painting with several layers of bronze 556. I struggled a bit to put them together after painting. Then I recommend fitting them, gluing, and then painting, not the opposite. With all pieces ready to assemble, the blade fits into the guard with pressure and the details are glued in place using Tekbond 200, which are more viscous and tends to get better with 3D printing. The handle still lacks a detail, I hope, but the client who bought this requested that she will do herself. If you want to buy the 3D file, see the complete settings or buy any product mentioned here, the links are pinned in the comment section or in my bio. For finishing touches, I use a metal varnish. I don't recommend regular varnish in this case. I use a Colorgin Metalik and a thin layer was enough for the final result.
That's the final product of the prop of Broken Master Sword Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.